Namaste. Welcome to February's Asana practice for the Cosmically Aligned video subscription course. This month we'll be playing with the energy of Durga, lovingly known as Ma Durga. Now, of course, there's always so much happening cosmically. Sometimes it's hard to choose which energy to play with and work with. But the great news is we've got lots of months to really be sitting with this energy, working with it on a physical level, a mental, an emotional, and an energetic level. So lots of time is on our side. And the reason why I chose Durga to work with this month is because she, to me, is the perfect energy for the new moon that's happening in Aquarius. And right now the sun is in Aquarius, and it will be until February 19th when it moves into Pisces. But the moon and the sun at the new moon time, February the 8th, both of these planets, or the mega planets of the sun and the moon, will be in Aquarius. Now, Aquarian energy is about fierce and radical independence and authenticity. And I couldn't think of another goddess who would more align with this fierce independence than Durga. But remember, it's an independence that leads to interdependence. So of course, when I think of Durga, I think of standing in one's own radical truth. And we're living in a time on the planet where we, especially as women, have an awesome opportunity to do that, to really embody our own authentic truth in a way that seems quite unprecedented. So it's a celebration of this that Durga invites us to. And yet it's also our own inner revolution. She is the goddess of revolution. And the revolution of embodying our own authenticity in ways that perhaps we haven't ever before. And so today's practice will be a lot on this. So calling on Durga, who is also already living inside of us. So you are Durga, and Durga is you. At least she's a facet of your experience. So physically, we'll be playing with the midline of the body and how the midline creates this channel. It already is a channel, but when we bring our energy and awareness to it, we become more connected with our own inherent truth that's always there, and yet can feel, when life is getting chaotic and there's a lot going on, it can feel far from us. And yet, Durga, the call to come back home to what's authentic, standing in your own midline, standing in your own center. And when we connect the four corners of the body and the head, okay, so the thigh bones connect to the hip sockets, that's 2 corners, and then the head of the arm bones connect to the shoulder girdle, 2 corners, so 4 corners of the body, and then the head connecting. It creates an overall cohesive feeling and vision. Okay, so Aquarian energy also being about this radical, expansive vision. And yet the tantric teachings will always remind us that, yes, we turn to the world because the divine is embedded in every corner, in every facet, in every cell of reality. And yet, we turn inward, turn into our own hearts first, so that we connect, so that we feel our own authentic truth and center, and can then express from that place in our lives. And so that's what we'll be playing with today. We'll do, I love doing potpourri practices, and we'll see where it leads. I'd like to include some back bends, because that to me is about really standing in and shining one's own authentic truth. And if you have access to a block, that will be really helpful. And if you have access to a belt, that will be really helpful. And we'll go from there, okay, and just have that stuff handy. And then take a good seat, lean to one side, widen your sits bone out to the side, lean to the other side, do the same. And then allow your pelvis to get heavy. Close your eyes, join your index and thumb fingers together, and attune your awareness to the natural flow of your breath. Feel how your breath nourishes and supports you from within. And feel how your breath is your own connection to your authentic center. So with each of your next few exhales, you might breathe in through your nose and then sigh out through your mouth, letting go of any unnecessary, self-limiting thoughts or feelings. Without judging any part of your experience. Just notice what is. Be in the experience of your own breath. Be in the experience of your own center. Bringing an awareness to the crown of your head, and then your midline that runs all the way from the crown of your head down through pelvic floor and into the core of the earth. And then allow this energy to run all the way back up through your crown, so that each inhale you connect with your center more fully. So your in-breath being a pathway to the truth, the inherent truth and wisdom, also Aquarian words, that lives inside of you. Excuse me. With each exhale, allow for an expansion, a softening from the center out. So your skin softens. You're really feeling a sense of inner connection and outer softening. Ma Durga is the holder of the midline. She upholds the midline. So every inhale, you connect with this fierce force inside of you. And every exhale can be a softening of all of those things that keep you from embodying your own center. Be with your breath. Let it sustain you for a few more rounds. With your next inhale, fold your hands to Anjali Mudra at your heart. Anjali being the palms, a mudra is a seal or a gesture. Here we are creating a remembrance of honoring, offering. We honor the energy of Durga. We call her in. We call her to life from deep within us, from all around us. This energy of fiercely holding what's important, what's valuable, what's meaningful. An energy of upholding the Dharma, your own sovereignty, your own center, and the truth that you access when you connect with your center. And may this practice be supportive on every level. And may we continue to connect with and embody our own independence, but in a way that recognizes we are all connected. It's one big energy that holds and sustains us. And yet the way that it expresses itself through us is unique. It is independent. And it is original. There is no other you on the planet. May we celebrate this. Let's chant together the Gayatri Mantra. And the great thing about this is that you can look it up online and get the words, and I'll lead us through. So 1 Om, 3 rounds of the Gayatri, and 1 Om. Welcome in a full breath. Om Bhurvubhava Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyo na Prachodayat. Om Bhurvubhava Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyo na Prachodayat. Om Bhurvubhava Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyo na Prachodayat. We call on the force of illumination that lights up the whole universe, and may this light, may this truth illumine our thoughts, our words, our actions, so that we may be more whole, aligned beings. You might bow your head to your heart, bowing to the place of oneness within us all. And then gently release your hands and bring your gaze into the room. Thank you. So let's start by coming to hands and knees. Table position. Clear everything else off to the side. Have your toes tucked under so that your knees are directly under your hips and your wrists are under your shoulders. With your inhale, open your front body, melting belly, heart down, and exhaling, reverse. Let your breath lead you here. Inhaling, opening front body. Exhaling, opening back. If you need to breathe out through your mouth, you are welcome to do that at any point. Just following your own internal intuitive cues. As you're moving, continue grounding down through your index finger mounds. Okay, so keep up with your cat-dog tilts, grounding through the index mounds, the outer heels of the hands, the baby finger mounds, and the thumb mounds. Okay, and claw the floor a little bit with your finger pads. We'll go 2 more rounds like this. Inhaling, come back to a neutral spine. Good. And then with your next in-breath, bring your right knee in toward your nose and exhale your leg into the air behind you. And then again, inhaling, draw the knee in. Exhale, stretch it out. Inhaling, gather yourself in your center. Exhale, expand. Once more, inhale, gather in the middle. Exhale, stretch it out. From here, bend the knee, take hold of your inner foot, and pushing your foot into your hand, rise up through your inner body, spinning it open. Inhale, breathe space into the right side body, and exhale, energetically stretch out. We'll go one more breath. And then with an inhale, reach out. Exhale, lower back down. Just feel the space in between. And then with your next inhale, left knee in. And then exhale, reach your leg out behind you. Inhale and gather. Exhale, stretch. Good. Bending your left knee. Reach back with your right hand to hold inner foot. Now I have to keep a little bend in my elbow, so that's going to allow for a bit more connection, clarity of connection, muscles hugging bones, okay? Inhale the left knee to the midline. Exhale, push your foot into your hand, spinning open. Inhale, space into your left side body. And with your exhale, full stretch. And then release and come on back down. And now here, have your hands 6 inches forward of shoulders and melt your heart down. So you'll feel shoulder blades on your back. Now one thing we can really do to help that connection is create space. So with an inhale, you can shrug your shoulders up toward your ears, and then keeping elbows a little soft, especially if you're a hyperextender, move your heart down toward the floor. Keep that sensation as you widen your collarbones, okay? And then inhale, lift up through the solar plexus, which is the center, like right where your diaphragm is, a little bit under it. Okay, so lifting up there, stretch back, downward facing dog. Adjust your feet as you need, and really stretch it out. You might walk in place here, bending one knee, grounding the opposite thigh back, even going over the tops of the feet, I think feels really nice. And feel the support of your breath within you. Good. With your next inhale, shift your weight forward to plank pose. Lifting your thighs, move your tailbone back toward your heels. And then, to back up a little bit, you can shift your weight forward and slowly lower down through chaturanga. Pointing your toes back, roll shoulder blades onto your back, and with an inhale, rise up cobra, Bhujangasana. Now, I always like to check my feet and legs just to make sure they're lined up here. So you can do the same. And with your exhale, downward facing dog. Bending your knees, look forward and light jump to the front of your mat. With your inhale, come up halfway. And then exhaling, fold. Pulse with your breath like this. Inhaling to Ardha Uttanasana. Exhaling Uttanasana. And go like that a few times, just really allowing your breath to get you connected with all of your experience, your physical, your sensory. And then with your inhale, rise up, stretch up. Exhale your hands to your heart, Anjali Mudra. Get really spacious through your inner body. So here, feel the sides of the waistline lifting up out of the pelvis. So you just kind of create a little space for that. And I imagine the goddess's hands herself. She has 8 of them, Durga does. So one set of the hands really sitting on the kidneys, lifting them up and back a little bit. So there is this inner lift, a sense of poise in your own pose. And yet it's also a softness because it's you being open to the way that the universe is supporting you. Inhaling, get spacious. Exhale your hands. Inhale, rise up. With your exhale, bow forward for Uttanasana. Inhaling, gaze forward, and with your exhale, bow. Inhaling, stretch your heart forward, and with your exhale, fold. Inhale, stretch forward, and placing your hands, you might jump back to plank pose. Pause in plank pose here. Just lifting the tops of your thighs, lengthen your tailbone back, and then soften your heart, okay? So thighs lift, two corners stabilize. Heart softens, two corners stabilize. And then shifting your weight forward a little, lower down chaturanga. Rise up for cobra or up dog, but either way, play with pulling your heart through. Pulling your heart through so that your shoulder blades firmly rest on your back body. And with your exhale, downward facing dog. Inhaling, reach your right leg into the air behind you, and exhale your knee in toward your nose, shifting your weight forward. Inhale here. Exhale, stretch it out. Good. 3 more of those. Inhaling, gather in your center. Exhale, expand. Inhaling, draw into the center. Exhale, expand. Make sure your toes face the floor. Once more, inhale, gather. Exhale, expand. And then inhale, step your right foot all the way through. Now, adjust your stance as you need to, and rise up, pushing your hands into your front thigh. As you push down, lean forward and draw the sides of your waistline back a little bit. So there's an inhaling into the back of the ribs, and then exhaling from your center. Really reach out through your back leg. Inhale, add the arms. I'm constantly playing with the action of scissoring the feet and legs and hips for more stability. So the front hip draws back and the back hip forward. Go one more breath, and with your exhale, lower your hands. Now, once more, we'll take the right leg into the air, 3-legged dog. Inhale forward, 3-legged plank. Exhale, 3-legged chaturanga, and then rise up to cobra or up dog. Downward facing dog with your exhale. And of course, you can go slower or faster than me. I encourage you not to rush right through the vinyasa. You build strength, Durga-like inner strength as you go more slowly. It's kind of like weight training. Inhaling, stretch your left leg up, and then exhale your knee in toward your nose. Inhale here, and then exhale, stretch. Inhale into your center. Exhale, stretch. Good. 2 more. Inhaling, gather. Exhaling, expand. Inhale into your center. Exhale, reach it up. And then inhaling, step your left foot through between your hands to lunge. Again here, adjust as you need to, scissoring your feet, legs, hips, so the front hip draws back. And then inhale your hands to your front thigh. Connect with the part of you that stands in her own sovereignty, stands in her own sense of integrity and sense of self, no matter what. Inhaling, add the arms. Keep lifting your back thigh up as you lunge more deeply through the front femur and knee. Inhale, lift your side waist, and exhale, stretch. Exhaling, lower your hands down. Good. Same thing, placing hands, once again, reach the left leg into the air behind you. Shift forward, 3-legged plank. And then with an exhale, lower down. And rise up, both legs on the floor. That's better. And feel the fullness of your breath here. Just be in the experience, your own experience of your breath, how it's moving through you, inviting you to your own conscious center.
At the end of your next exhale, bend your knees a lot. Look forward, light spring. Inhale, come up halfway. And with your exhale, fold. Now here, inhale, come up halfway. And then pull one foot back at a time energetically so that you're engaging your hamstrings. So your thigh bones are moving to your hamstrings. See if you can keep that as you fold in. And now here's something that's really nice too. You can take your hands to the inseam of your thighs and just widen them. Keep hugging your legs into the midline as you broaden with your hands manually your thighs. And then into that, scoop your tailbone and bow. With your inhale, lengthen, rise up, stretch up, and exhale your hands. Inhale, get spacious, and exhale, release. Inhaling, rise up. Then with your exhale, bow forward. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, plank pose. Chaturanga Dandasana. Rise up to cobra or up dog. And exhale to down dog. With your next in-breath, stretch your right leg into the air behind you and bending your knee this time, open your hip. Play here with lifting the underside of the left arm and hugging your arms evenly to the center. And with your next inhale, sweep your right foot through between your hands, lower the back knee, rise up, Anjaneyasana. Push down into your front thigh to lunge more deeply. Inhale, gather into your center. Exhale, full stretch. And with your next exhale, lower your hands down to the earth. Same thing. Stretch your right leg with a bend into the air behind you. Spread your left toes. And then inhaling, bring your knee in toward your nose and reach your foot out on a diagonal. You'll walk your hands over to the right. And now pull your heart through to the right. Crank your outer right hip down away from your shoulder. Again, the right outer hip drawing away from the shoulder, creating space through the right side body. And then inhaling, come back to center. Plank. You can move through your flow here. And inhaling, reach the left leg up behind you. Again, watch the right arm. Keep lifting it up and hugging both arms in, really melting your heart so you feel the Durga-like protective, fierce, yet loving support of your shoulder blades on your back body. So remember, Durga is a mom. So she's really loving too. Inhale your left foot through, lowering your back knee, rise up. She loves the world and you so much that she has to be fierce, you know? When you're maybe not believing in everything you're capable of, she comes in with fierceness. Ha! Inhale, draw into your center. Exhale through your mouth. Inhale here, and with your exhale, lower your hands. Lifting your back knee, three-legged dog, bending your knee, open your hip. And then inhaling, gathering your center. Exhale, stretch your leg over to the side. Walking your hands on a diagonal to the left. It's like you're doing a little bit of up dog in your upper body. So pull your heart through. Inhale here. Exhale through your mouth. And we'll do two more. I have my hip lifted a little. It's on the floor, but I'm not just collapsing, right? I'm staying connected to the strong and fierce center. Inhaling, lift up, bending your knee. Stretch back three-legged and then regular plank and chaturanga. And then move it on through. Deep breaths here. Exhaling, bend your knees, look forward, light jump. Inhaling, come up half, and with your exhale, fold. Now here, if you're really bendy, you want to resist doing this. So rather than the rib cage resting on the thighs, play with creating space. Okay, so that's going to give your hip flexors space and your hamstring attachments a safety net. Okay, so here, of course, my heart keeps reaching in, but my abs are going to be engaged. They back me off. Okay, or your hands. You can push your hands into the floor. Now, if you tend to be not hypermobile and your hamstrings are tight, you're going to work the opposite action, which is sticking your bum out. Okay? Inhaling, rise on up. And with your exhale, fold your hands. Anjali Mudra at your heart. Get really spacious again through the sides of your body. So there's a lift here. The sides of the waistline lift up and draw back a little bit. That gives you a connection to your abs, but it also creates a sense of spaciousness so that your breath can more freely move through your torso, which is, of course, life-enhancing, okay? We'll do a few more sun salutations, just simple. Get spacious, exhale your hands. Inhaling, rise. Exhale to bow. Inhale, gaze, and exhale, plank pose. Chaturanga Dandasana. Cobra or up dog. Pulling heart through and exhaling, stretch back, downward facing dog. Feel your breath. Feel its pulse. Feel it reminding you to connect to your own center over and again. Now, with your next inhale, shift forward 2 inches. Bending your elbows, hug your shoulder blades onto your back. See if you can keep that as you stretch your arms straight. Lift up through solar plexus and full stretch. Sits bones lift, tailbone moves toward heels. Feel the power of that. Bending your knees, look forward, jump. Inhaling, come up halfway. And exhaling, fold. Rise up, Urdhva Hastasana with your inhale. Exhale your hands. Let your breath lead you. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, bow. Inhale, gaze. Exhale, plank. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, rise up, cobra or up dog. And downward facing dog. So in the same way that your shoulder blades and your arm bones even plug into your back body, your thigh bones plug into your hip sockets. So you can bend your knees and hug your midline. Just engage the muscles in your inner legs. Gather your energy in your center by isometrically hugging your feet toward each other. Keep that as you widen your sits bones, but also keep your back body full like that, okay? Now, keeping your thighs pushing back energetically, so the tops of the thighs are connecting to the hip sockets. Keep that and push your legs towards straight. Now again, if you tend to be really open in your hamstrings, move your tailbone toward your heels. That action will lift your low belly. It'll also lift Mula Bandha, okay, your root lock. Exhale, really stretch out, moving your heart back. And then bending your knees, look forward. At the end of the exhale, light jump. Inhale, come up halfway. And with your exhale, fold. Inhaling, rise up, stretch up. And with your exhale, Anjali Mudra. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, bow. Inhale, gaze. Exhale, plank pose. Chaturanga Dandasana. And cobra or upward facing. Down dog with an exhale. And feel 4 corners of the body stabilizing. Palate just drawing back and lengthening. So your ears are even with your upper arms. Bending your knees, look forward. Light jump. Inhale and come up halfway. And with your exhale, fold. Good. Keeping your legs steady. Inhale, rise to standing. And with your exhale, fold. Anjali Mudra. Again, get really spacious through the sides of your body. So let's look at this here. With an inhale, hands at your heart. Now you don't have to have your thumbs touching because that can tend to create a hardening. So when the thumbs touch the chest, there can be like a hardening. But the hands can kind of spill out as though, oh, the heart is offering itself outwardly. Okay, because when we're abiding in our own authentic center, we can lovingly offer ourselves, in whatever form to the world, but in a way where we're not giving too much of ourselves, right? And we're not willing to take on other people's stuff that isn't ours. That's a great Durga lesson. And that's also Aquarian energy, because it's like, well, this is what I'm offering, this is what I'm doing, this is who I am, and if you don't agree with it, doesn't mean that I don't love you, just means that this is what I need to do to really be authentic to myself, okay? So bringing your hands like so, inhale and lengthen from the iliac crest, okay? So here, the tops of the hips, all the way up through the armpits, and see if you can play with kind of lifting up through the back body, okay? And with your exhale, the head of the arm bones go back, and the palate can go back. Good. Inhale, get spacious again, even allowing your weight to move back to the front of your heels. And then exhale, soften that. So the collarbones do widen out. They don't just stay up here, okay? They widen out from the center. You'll feel a V in your shoulder blades, okay? Good. Standing on your, I'll mirror you, standing on your right leg, bring your left foot up, tree pose. And now hugging into your own center, woo woo, don't hug in so much that you become unbalanced. So hugging into your own center, feel your midline. Just feel into it. And now same thing, see if you can draw the side ribs up and back, and even stretching your arms, hook your thumbs at the top. Inhale, back body full. Exhale, go full stretch here. Tops of the ears flow back. Find a drishti and look at it. Good. So from here, exhale, take your right hand to your hip, bring your left knee to the midline. Take hold of either your outer foot, your big toe, or lasso your foot with a belt. And now here, pushing your foot into your hand, move the top of your right thigh back. Exhale your outer left hip away from your shoulder as you push your foot into your hand or belt to stretch your legs straight. Breathe a lot. Now inhale, move the top of this right thigh back again. Exhale, extend energetically. With your next inhale, take your leg off to the side. Exhale, stretch. You might add the arm. Now, instead of hanging in the hip, really extend from your center down through standing leg. With your inhale, come back to the middle, and then taking hold of the outside of the left foot, feel. So, woohoo, that's intense. Now, you might bend your knee, that's totally fine, okay? And then rolling your left shoulder blade onto your back, stretch your arms straight, and we'll gaze over eventually left shoulder. Inhaling, come back to center, stretch your arms overhead.
Keep moving the top of this standing leg thigh back. With your exhale, you're going to dive forward, but don't do a dive bomb. For warrior 3, hands on the floor. With an inhale, lift up through your center, draw your palate up and back, and then add the arms, reaching your heart forward. Good. Exhaling, lower your hands, lower your back knee to the floor as you step back to low lunge. Oh, that feels good. And then from here, you can walk to the inside of your front foot and kind of come on down to a lizard. This is where it's nice to have blocks, okay? If you need them under your forearms, do it. Pulling your back knee forward energetically, okay? Scoop your front buttock under you a little bit so you feel even here, as you're softening your heart, there's a lift through your center. So what are the ways that we support ourselves? So think of this Ma Do-It-A-Good energy. She's a fierce mother, and yet it's mothering ourselves in a way, giving ourselves what we need in order to embody this fierce independence that she's asking us to, this fierce authenticity. So what do you need to support yourself into that? Good. From here, we'll rise up. Now, shifting back, this just feels good. Have your left hip directly over your left knee. Inhaling, stretch your heart forward. And with your exhale, bow over your front leg. You might take your hand to the foot. Now here the tendency is for the sacrum to get really unlevel, something like that, okay? So we want to draw the front foot back and even widen the left hip over to the side so that we have room to fold right in the middle, navel spinning to the right. One more breath here. Inhaling, lengthen and stretch your heart. And with your exhale, bend your front knee. Okay? And rock the back foot forward for Uttanasana. Wow, what a difference. So feel into that. Inhaling, come up halfway. And with your exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, stretch up. And with your exhale, fold your hands, Anjali Mudra. Good. And then again, coming to, well, you don't really need to change your position, but I will, just so you can see me better. Coming onto your left foot, spread your toes on the left foot, and really lift up through the arch. So it's as though you're drawing the ball mound of the foot back toward the heel. Feels as though you're picking something up with your foot. See if you can keep that. And pull this engaged energy all the way up your left leg into your solar plexus. So it's like you're drawing from the foot all the way up the leg, energy pantyhose as we would call them, and moving into the center. Thankfully, we don't really have to wear pantyhose anymore, but we can always wear energy pantyhose. That feels very supportive. Again, you're using the power and the energy of your own body to support yourself. As you're ready, add the arms and hook your thumbs maybe. Inhale the side ribs up and back. Exhale, wrap your front buttock under you as you reach up through your whole pose. So as you really lengthen your tailbone down, it'll give you more power through the foundation and then up through the fingers. Inhaling, bring the knee to the midline, take your left hand to hip, and take hold of the inner foot here, or the outer foot, or the big toe, or lasso. Use a belt, okay? Pushing your foot into your hand, pull the top of this thigh back. See if you can keep that as you wrap your right buttock under you and stretch. So the action of pushing the foot into the hand engages the hamstrings, and that is good. That's what we want to engage the muscles as we stretch them. We'll inhale, go out to the side, top of the standing leg thigh goes back, and then wrap your top buttock under you again to lift up. deep breaths here. Let your breath support you. Let your center support you. Inhale the leg to the midline. And then take hold of the outer edge of the foot. Okay. And then from here, pull the top of the left leg back or left thigh back. And then reaching your arm behind you, you might eventually add the gaze. Inhale back to center. Stretch your arms overhead. And with your exhale, so I'll turn this way, bow forward for a Virabhadrasana 3. Hands on the floor, and then inhale, gather in your center, lift up through solar plexus. Add the arms. Spin the inseam of your left thigh up to the sky. Shoulder blades on your back. And exhale, lower your hands and glide back to low lunge. Good news, come on over to your inner foot and lower down to your forearms. And same thing here. As you settle into your breath, feel what it's like to pull your back knee forward and then widen your left buttock to the left. As you do that, it'll give you more room to scoop this front buttock under you and lift your right waistline, okay? And soften your heart there. Inhaling, come on back up, and then shift your weight back for an Ardha Hanuman. So same thing here, make sure that your right hip is directly over your knee, okay? And then instead of letting this happen, pushing your left heel into the floor, pull it back energetically so you feel your thigh bone plugging into your hip socket. Inhale, stretch your heart forward, and with your exhale, bow. And again, you might take the other hand down. Now I tend to hike this hip up a little bit. It's great, you can see. So I'll have to crank it down. Wow, brings me back into my fierce Duodhika center. The interesting thing is when our egos take hold of something like the energy of Duodhika, you know, she can turn into this super like hard, you know, intense badass, and she is badass. But she's not hard. She does this because she loves, right? She upholds what's authentic because, one, that's what's in the highest truth. And two, she loves you. She loves the world. So it's not just a hard energy. All of the fierce-faced goddesses have a really soft center. And that's what we want to remember. Okay? All right, so from here, lunge pose, and then rock your back foot forward. And fold, Uttanasana. Good, and so from here, take your right hand to the outside of your left calf and pull yourself around. Again, if you're open hamstring, really open, move your sits bones down toward your heels. Inhale back to the center, and then exhale, come around to the right. Inhale and come back to center. Exhale, fold, and then with your inhale, rise up. And exhale, hands to your heart. All right. If you want some water, grab your water, take a little water break. We'll work toward Pincha Mayurasana. So we're either going to do Pincha, which is forearm balance, the prep version or the full version. Of course, I'll demo this if you need. And those, just watch the demo actually, and then if you're working it on your own in the middle of the room, you can just start playing right off. And if you need some wall space, go on over to the wall, set yourself up about, you know, fingers are going to be a few inches from the wall. I like to do this with a block, and I'll show you how. Okay, so once I grab my block, I'm going to place it on the mat so that I can hold it like this,
Okay, so I'm holding it in between my index and thumb fingers. Now, we want the elbows directly under the shoulders here. So that's going to be part of Do-It-Aga's job, right? When we're upholding the Dharma and the truth, we need a strong foundation. We need a clear foundation. So that's this. So I set myself up here, and I'll walk my knees far enough back so that I can get my shoulder blades on my back body and lift up through the center. This tends to happen for me, okay? But this tends to happen for a lot of people. We want to find the place in the middle. So we do want your shoulder blades to be on your back. So it's helpful to inhale, shrug shoulders up. Exhale, shoulder blades on the back, widen collarbones, and then again, revamp the solar plexus connection. Okay? Then I'll work my heart as much as I can back toward my legs. That feels really good in and of itself. Then I can take a leg up, and this left leg is what's really holding the midline. So it'll hold the midline so the right leg can meet it. Now both legs hold the midline. I'll separate my feet so I can scoot my tailbone up toward my feet and give more of a stretch. If I push into my hands a little bit more, it'll help me lift up. And then to calm down, I just have to watch out for what's behind me and bend the knees and rest. Okay? Now, I don't always use the block for that, and it's not totally necessary, but it is nice to remind you of your own center. So I know that, especially if you're a pretty sensitive being, living in the world can pull you out of your center. I know that's been my experience of life, and it was for a really long time, being the 12th house Pisces that I am. So just like really, open and sometimes not knowing my own center, right? So I feel the midline as connection with my own center, and it's just a sensing, a feeling, rather than a mental thing. Like I have to use words to talk about it, but it's more of a feeling. Okay, so I invite you to feel your own steady center, your Do-It-Aga-like center. Now, shrug, melt, expand collarbones, and then lift up through solar plexus. Now breathe into your back body. With your exhale, lift your knees, walk your feet in, work your heart back. Now stretch a leg up, okay, and you're going to spin the inseam of your thigh toward the sky and keep working your heart back. If that's enough for you, I can say that's a lot. It's enough, and you're going to stay there. Now, if you want to play with bending your left knee, kind of bouncing a little bit, do that. Once you get up, if you're going up, separate feet, scoop your bottom, and then stretch up. If you're not going up, lower right leg down, and then inhale, left leg up. Keep spinning again, the inseam of your left thigh up to the sky. You'll know when it's time to come down. Allow yourself to do that. Okay? And after this, just do a few. I like to kick up with both legs, challenge myself to, do the uncomfortable side. Now they both feel pretty even. Still different, but I like them both. So challenge yourself to do both legs kicking up into the pose. If you want to do that a few times, give it a go. Once you feel good about that, come into Vajrasana, which is this pose, and close your eyes and just feel your breath. I think sometimes, even in yoga, we go so quickly that, we have a sense of the center. It's constantly moving. What does it feel like to really be still? What parts of you resist being still? What parts of you resist moving quickly? That's something to sit with.